Hi everyone, welcome to the lecture number 8 of unit number 3, vector spaces and inner product spaces. So in previous lecture we have started the discussion on inner product space. Now we have seen the definition of norm of a vector there. Then after that we have seen the Euclidean space concept. Okay, that is also related to inner product space. Now in this lecture we are going to start the last content of unit number 3, which is orthogonality, orthogonal and orthonormal set and Gram-Smith process. Okay. In, for understanding this topic also we require the knowledge of a inner product space. We need the definition of inner product space. How to calculate inner product in Euclidean space, that knowledge we require for understanding these concepts. So very first we'll see the definition of what do we mean by orthogonality. Okay. So let V be inner product space and two vectors of u and v belongs to V are said to be orthogonal. So whenever any two members of some inner product space are said to be orthogonal, the meaning of orthogonal vectors is the perpendicular vectors. They are orthogonal if and only if their inner product is 0. If the value of inner product of two vectors you get as 0, you can say that two vectors are orthogonal to each other. So here are some examples I have written. So for the following vectors we are going to check whether they are orthogonal or not. So every vector's inner product you need to calculate, as these are the vectors from Euclidean space, that is R3 three-dimensional space. So their inner product will be what? Simply a dot product. We have seen the definition of inner product u comma v in the for Euclidean space vector. Whenever vectors are in the form of order space, simply you take dot product there. If they are in the form of column vectors, matrices form, in that case we take the multiplication in the form of matrices, that is u transpose v. These type of things we have discussed. So simply you need to calculate dot product of two vectors. So how we do that dot product? We multiply component wise. First component will get multiplied with first component of the second vector, plus second component will get multiplied with second component likewise. So for first vector you will get the product as 0. For second pair of vector also you will get the product as 0. For the last pair you will not get the product equal to 0. So first two are orthogonal and last is not orthogonal. Right? So this is how you can check the orthogonality of two vectors. Now let us see the next definition. So next definition is the definition of orthogonal and orthonormal set. So when we'll say the set of vectors is orthogonal or orthonormal, for that this definition is there. So consider a set of n vectors. So we have considered here set of n vectors u1 u2 up to un of non-zero vectors. The vectors are non-zero in an inner product space V. Some inner product space V we have taken, from that we have taken the vectors. Then the set S, this set S is said to be orthogonal. This set of n vectors is said to be orthogonal if each pair of the vectors in the set S are orthogonal. If you take any two vectors, if you form a pair of any two vectors from that set, if they are orthogonal, then that set will be called as orthogonal set. And S is called orthonormal. What is the meaning of orthonormal? If set S is orthogonal and each vector has unit length, means if norm of every vector is equal to 1, length of vector means norm of vector. If at the same time norm of every vector is 1 and if each pair of vector is orthogonal, that is the meaning of the first line is, if you take inner product of ui with aj for any j, for any I and j, it will be equal to 0, and norm of ui for every I will be equal to 1. So when these both conditions get satisfied, that set of vectors will be called as orthonormal set. Okay, for orthonormality the length of every vector has to be unit, that is 1. That is the condition on orthonormal set. And for orthogonal set, each pair of vectors must be orthogonal, means perpendicular to each other, that is inner product of each pair of vector will be equal to 0. That two conditions we need to check. Now one remark, if S is orthogonal set of non-zero vectors, then S is linearly independent vectors. We have seen the concept of linear dependence and independence also. So whenever the set is orthogonal, you can claim that the set of vectors is linearly independent. Now an example based on this. find unit vector orthogonal to u bar equal to find unit vector orthogonal to u equal to 1 1 2 and v equal to 0 1 3 in R3. Okay, so let w be that vector. We are going to calculate one vector which is perpendicular to orthogonal to u, means perpendicular to u and v in R3, and it is of unit length. So I have considered that vector as w equal to x y z is a unit vector orthogonal to u and v. So as it is unit vector orthogonal to u and v, it will satisfy the condition that inner product of w with u and v will be equal to 0. That will give us two equations in x, y, z. These are the two equations. X plus y plus 2z equal to 0, x plus 0 into x plus 1 into y plus 3z equal to 0, which can be simultaneously solved for the values of x, y, z. So after there are three equations and two equations we are having and three unknowns we are having. So if you put z equal to 1, we'll get here infinitely many solutions, but out of that for z equal to 1 we are calculating the vectors. So if you set z equal to 1, we'll get x equal to 1 and y equal to minus 3. Now we have obtained the vector w, that is x, y, z, which is orthogonal to these two, right? If you take the inner product of this w with u and v, you will find that it is equal to 0. Now to obtain unit vector, we are going to divide that vector w by its norm. Okay, so when you will divide the vector w by its norm, you will get the unit vector, and the length of this final vector will be 1. Just divide by norm of, you know how to calculate norm, it is the square of every element, addition of square of every element, and inside root we write, and w is that vector that we obtained. So if you divide by norm of that vector, you will get the unit vector w cap. We denote it by w cap. This is the notation used for unit vectors. Okay, so in that way you can determine unit vector orthogonal to the given set of vectors. Another problem: show that the set of vector is orthogonal set. So whenever you want to show that the set of vectors is orthogonal, so you need to show that every pair of vector is orthogonal. So here we are having three vectors here in this set, u, v and w. Okay, for proving that the set is orthogonal, and furthermore we are going to obtain the orthonormal set also, that we'll do later on by dividing norm of vector. So for proving the set is orthogonal, we need to consider every pair of vector, that is u, pair of u and v, u and w, v and w, their inner product has to be equal to 0. Inner product means here dot product. Okay, and you can clearly see that for this case all the three product equal to 0. Hence each pair of vectors is orthogonal. Hence from the definition, S is the orthogonal set. Now we'll obtain the orthonormal set. So for obtaining orthonormal set, we have to divide each vector by its norm, so it will become an orthonormal vector, right? That process is called as normalization. Okay, by normalizing every vector, we will find the orthonormal set. So let us calculate norm of all the three vectors. This is the norm, and divide every vector by its norm. So we'll get u cap, v cap, w cap, and these newly obtained vectors will be your required vectors in the orthonormal set. U cap, comma, v cap, comma, w cap. This is the set of vectors which forms orthonormal set. Fine. Now we are going to start discussion on the Gram-Schmidt process. In Gram-Schmidt process, we find orthogonal set. Okay, or we reduce the given set of vectors to orthonormal set, and that process of converting the given set of vectors to orthonormal set is called as the Gram-Schmidt process. So there are some steps that we follow in Gram-Schmidt process. Let us go through the steps how we do the calculation in the case of Gram-Schmidt orthonormality process. So very first, suppose v1, v2, vn is the basis of an inner product space, and we can use this basis to construct orthogonal basis as w1, w2, wn. And for finding this orthogonal basis for this given basis, we apply this process. So very first vector w1 we have to consider as v1. Second vector w2 can be obtained by using this formula. Third vector w3 can be obtained using this formula. Try to remember all these formulas. W2 is v2 minus inner product of V2 with W1. Here we have W1, here W1, 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 right? In first vector W1 we take as same as V1, okay? And here we are converting this set of vectors V1, V2, Vn to W1, W2, Wn using this process. So in that way we proceed. So generally we ask to calculate only 3 vectors. So only up to we have this examples based on only 3 vectors. So only formula up to W3 you need to remember. This is the general formula of Gram-Smith orthogonalization process. We reduce the from the given set of vectors, we find the new set of vectors which will be orthogonal to each other. Okay. Now let us see one example based on this. So this is the first example. Find an orthonormal basis for the subspace U of R4 spanned by these 3 vectors. Okay, we have to find here orthonormal basis. So for finding orthonormal basis, first we find orthogonal basis, and from that we can determine orthonormal basis by dividing that vectors by their norm. Okay, so very first we'll find the orthogonal set. So for that purpose, let us use the formula of Gram-Smith process. W1 we take as V1. These are the V1, V2, V3, and we are going to calculate W1, W2, W3. W1, W2, W3 will be the set of orthogonal vectors, and from that we'll calculate W1 cap, W2 cap, W3 cap, which will be the set of orthonormal vectors. So formulas: W1 we take directly as V1. W2 we use this formula V2 minus inner product of V2 comma V1, V2 comma W1 divided by inner product W1 W1 into W1. So after calculating all these things, you can see the calculations that the inner product of V2 with W1 is this. Inner product of W1 with W1 itself is the norm of W1 square. Okay, that also we have written. And finally putting in this value, after carrying out this difference of 2 vectors, we'll get W2 as -2 -1, this 1 1 2. And formula for W3 in Gram-Smith process is this: V3 minus inner product of V3 comma W1, W1 W1, here also W1, minus V3 comma W2, inner product of W2 W2 in the denominator into W2. So after calculating all these terms, finally we get W3 as this, okay, which is here it is 8 by 5 minus 17 by 10 minus 13 by 10, 7 by 5. 10 is in the if you multiply throughout by 10, sorry, if you multiply throughout by 10, we'll get a 16 minus 17, 13, 14 as the W3. This is we do by clearing fraction. So whenever you find if you get vector in the form of fractions, in that case if you have common fraction, that you can divide throughout by that common factor. Now these are the set W1, W2, W3 are the orthogonal basis. These vectors are orthogonal to each other. Now for finding orthonormal basis, we just divide each vector by its norm. So after dividing by norm of every vector, these 3 newly obtained vector will form a orthonormal basis. So in Gram-Smith process, you need to remember that 3 formulas of W1, W2, W3. By using that, you can determine the orthogonal basis. And if you want further orthonormal basis, at the end you divide that obtained vector by their norm. So this is how you can do in the case of Gram-Smith process. Now a few examples will. So these are some examples you try to practice. Okay, if you need any help, you can ask. All these topics are very easy. If you know the definition, you can definitely do them well. So first is consider the basis of R3, which is 1 0 0 0 1 0, 0 1 0 and 0 0 1. Is E orthogonal? So orthogonality we need to check. So take inner product of each pair of vectors and show that it is equal to 0. Is E orthonormal? So we need to check whether the norm of every vector is 1 or not. Okay, if it is there, if the norm is of every vector is 1, then you can say that it is orthonormal set also. Second example is quite similar. Third also quite similar. In third, one more thing we need to check: is yes a basis of R3 here also. So for checking basis, once you show that the set is orthogonal, from that you can claim that the set of orthogonal vectors is linearly independent. and for the set of vectors to be basis, it must be linearly independent and it must span the given space. So from this orthogonality, you'll get one condition, that is the set of vector is linearly independent. Only you need to check whether it is a linear span or not. So for linear span, you need to check, consider any random vector of that space and show that that vector is a linear combination of the given vectors. So that will prove the linear span, and from that we can check whether it is a basis or not. Okay, now in the last fourth example, all examples are similar. Use Gram-Smith process to obtain orthonormal basis. Okay, span by following vectors in standard inner product space. So orthonormal basis we need to calculate. Hence, apply that three formulas of W1, W2, W3. You determine these three vectors by using formulas. After that, divide by every vector's norm and get the orthonormal basis by using Gram-Smith process. So this is it from unit number 3. This is the last part of unit number 3. Hope you have understood this discussion. If you need any help, you can write in comment box. So that's it from this lecture. Thank you.